Lies Van Daele, welcome to the Artists I Meet channel. Thank you for joining me. I'm very excited to hear more about yourself and what you are doing. So please tell us more about yourself.
Hi Hans, I am Lies and I'm living in Gijzegem. It's a city close to Aalst. I am married. My husband is Gunther and we have 4 children. I'm a pottery artist. Um, I'm mostly specialized in pottery made on the pottery wheel.
Yeah.
So I'm not a slab builder, but I'm a real thrower, as they say.
Yeah. And so where did it all originate for you? What got you into pottery? What drew you to it? And what were your influences?
Well, I always asked my parents for a tiny pottery wheel, but I never got it. And one day, I think I was 14, maybe 15, and we went to a pottery studio, and we asked the guy if I could follow some lessons. And in the beginning, he said no, because I was too small. He only taught the craft to adults. But at the end of the afternoon, he said, well, okay, let's give it a try. And then I started making pottery. So I was 14, turning 15. But I have some old notebooks from when I was little. And I have found at the age of 8 that it says, what do you love most? And it says ceramics. So
Yeah.
I don't really know where it triggered something, but it has been something I was fascinated by since I was a child.
So it came from a very long time ago. It doesn't sound like it, but did you experience any resistance from anybody, your family or anybody else when you started in your career in arts?
No, my parents were really supportive, but as you maybe you know or you don't know, but it's a very expensive hobby. So sometimes I did not come home with something I made because I failed or something was broken, and then I felt some pressure to really produce pots. But no, for the rest they were really supportive. My friends on the other side, they thought I was a bit strange. I was not bullied, but they think I was a little different than the rest because I had pottery as a hobby. I was not playing piano or soccer like other ones.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's I often hear of people in the arts who were mocked and who were bullied when they were young.
I was not really bullied, but
I understand.
I was a bit on the side, you know.
Yeah. No, I understand. A bit different, I guess.
Yeah. And I wanted to go to art school.
Yes.
But I was not allowed because my parents said I would not make money in the art section.
That's usually the argument, which is sad.
Unfortunately.
So I see you're sitting in your studio, which is looking very nice, and I see a few pieces of your art behind you. So how would you describe the art that you are creating?
Well, mostly I make functional things. So it means dinnerware or pots for plants or platters, things like that. But yeah, it depends on the time I have. But I like to create things as well for in the garden that are just, how do you say, artifacts? I don't know. Just that are nice to look at. So it's not
That's nice.
practical, but mostly it is.
Oh, great. And where do you find your inspiration?
Mostly in daily life. For example, my son is a big inspiration. when he's playing with his animals.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
once made a series of pots with little insects on it, and
yeah.
he was my inspiration at that time. Or just things I dream about. So sometimes I imagine something in my dreams, and then it's always perfect in my dreams. And then I try to make something, or that's sometimes a base to start a process. And sometimes I don't know where it's going. It depends.
So it looks to me that this is really something you need to do. It's part of you. It's part of your life. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So great.
It's
And I'm very glad that you actually have the opportunity to fulfill that part of your life. So can you please give us a bit of an insight in your creative process? How does an average day look for you?
Well, I mostly teach. So when I wake up, I have to set up the studio for my students. But so it contains checking the pots and even watering the pots, because people come once a week here.
Mm.
Unloading the kiln, loading the kiln, making buckets of glaze, making clay even. Um, that's the most tasks I have during the day. But if I make pots,
Yeah.
then it starts with preparing the clay, wedging the clay, then I can throw. But you cannot do all the steps of the process on one day.
Okay.
So if I have a making day, so to say, then another day I can trim the pots, I can decorate the pots. Then they have to dry. They go into the kiln for the bisque fire at 1,000 degrees. And then afterwards, when it's unloaded, I can glaze them and fire them again. And then I go to cone 6, cone 7, which is 1,250 degrees, more or less,
Wow.
depending on the glaze I use.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
and then you can have a finished result.
I see. Okay. So and do you when you teach, do you teach the people to do their own things on the wheel from the whole process, or do you take over the baking at some stage?
It depends of how long they are staying here.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, I teach them everything, especially the throwing and the trimming.
Mm-hmm.
And then the glazing part, they have to glaze their own pots, and that's also something I teach. But making the glazes is very difficult. It's a chemical. It's a chemical process. It's with recipes. So mostly I make them, and they can just, for example, choose the color and then use the bucket with the color in it.
Okay. Okay. And it's something I heard before. It's that now talking about the color, that it doesn't always come out the way you want. It's more something of a bit of a surprise when it comes out of the kiln. Eh?
Yeah, it is. Some people say it's up to the kiln gods, but I don't believe it. It's just, I have some glazes which are really stable, and I know that no matter what clay or a little fluctuation in the temperature won't mind, but other glazes are very fragile, so to say, and some pots can also react with other pots. So it's the oxides that are in it that sometimes trigger a color to change. And,
yes.
it's a lifelong learning.
But
I'm a little more at ease now because I have a good colors now. But it's a lifelong.
Of course. I think any trade, you keep learning and learning and learning. Yeah, which is good. So, is there any a specific symbolism in your art?
Not really, but I love people,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
sometimes for myself I need a channel to give.
Yeah.
And that's my way of giving something to others.
Oh.
And I don't think people will see that, but it's a feeling for me that
Yeah.
is that's huge. Yeah.
You never know. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And how do you make your choices for what you're going to do from season to season? Does it change, or do you just carry
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, it does change. It comes with ideas. For example, now I'm busy with some garden artifacts.
Mm.
So I made some examples. They are outside here.
Yeah.
I made some things that are in my mind, and now I'm going to develop more because I know, okay, I want to go bigger. I want to do the colors a little different. And then, of course, I try to make a few. So I have something to sell maybe or present to the people.
Yeah.
But I like to work in, how do you say, phases. So now it's the garden things, but when they are made, for me, it's finished. Then
Okay.
I'm looking for something else, to do.
Oh yes, of course. It's spring now, so everybody
Yeah.
wants stuff for the garden. Eh? Yeah.
But sometimes I also make, of course, just for selling, like
Yes.
I mean, candlelights in winter. A lot of people are asking for them, so then it's a good period to make some.
Yeah. So as with any process, I guess there are certain things that you like doing and other things that you really don't like doing. So can you tell us, give us examples of both, please?
Yeah, well, drawing I like the most because it's the moment of creating, and that's what I enjoy most. So, for example, on a Sunday, I can come to the studio if I feel the need and just draw the whole day, but don't keep anything. Just because I enjoy the drawing process so much. Then the trimming I also like, and I have to say maybe the glazing is my least favorite.
Okay.
Mostly because bigger things are more difficult to handle in the glazing process, and it's just more the practical side that irritates me sometimes. But for the rest, or maybe finances. If that isn't, that's my least favorite. The financial side of my business.
Yeah, you're more creative than that. Yeah. So, do you consider it important to create atmosphere in your workplace, and how do you do it? Well, I think we can see already there's great atmosphere where you are sitting.
Well, I wanted for my students, I wanted an environment where people can feel at ease and feel at home. Actually,
Yeah.
you can just take a coffee, have a chat, and be at their at their best comfort.
Yeah.
But for myself, I like it quiet. Maybe some music in the background. But if I'm working here all alone, then I like the view of the garden. And just the quietness, actually.
Yeah. It seems like you've got big windows and you're almost in nature there. Hey?
Yes.
So what do you consider to be the most important ideas and concepts to impart to aspiring artists to make life a bit easier for them?
A bit easier. I would say steal with your eyes everything you can. Because that's the most important thing to learn from others.
Yes.
Because pottery is the oldest profession in the world, I think. So you can only learn from others and to look at previous generations. So I would say, steal with your eyes and try to be the best.
And if it is at all possible, is there anybody that you would like to work with in your industry?
I find myself lacking in drawing or making decorations. So sometimes I dream about fully decorated vases or things. And for example, Elria, it would be wonderful to do something together. because I sometimes see a vision very clear, but I cannot, I cannot make it myself.
You cannot create it.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh
if I
well.
went to art school.
Yeah. Oh well. So yeah, I am. Elria is my wife, and she's quite
Talented.
accomplished artist, and very creative. So I think she would be able to help you most probably. Yeah. So if it wasn't for your artistic career, what would you most likely be doing today?
Well, I studied occupational therapy, so I think I would be working in that area of my profession. And I also have a teacher's degree, so it would be either one of the two or maybe combined.
Okay. But I think this is much more exciting what you're doing
Yes,
now.
it
Hey,
is.
and you.
Because, of course, I worked before as an occupational therapist as well as a teacher. And the biggest difference is that I have a lot in return now. So
Okay.
people are very grateful now, and it gives my life more meaning, actually.
Yeah. So, how do you feel the internet has changed or impacted the art industry? And do you feel it was positive or negative, the impact, or can it be used to one's advantage?
I think it's both positive and negative. If I may tell a story,
Yes.
I used to in school I used to always talk about pottery, whether it was for the French lessons or English, and I really had to go to the library. It was really difficult to find information. Now, on the other hand, you can find lots of things, lots of videos. There are also incredibly a lot of people who make pots. But I think it's good to learn. It's good for exchange of information. But I think it contaminates the how do you say your imagination, because sometimes you make something, but you've already seen it at
Oh,
a
okay.
comic or so, because everything is already made. Pottery is so old, so it's difficult to find something new. So
Yes.
you have to make it your own.
Yeah.
But I think people, a lot of, I'm not sure. That's what I feel for myself. But you see a lot of things, and it feels like you are remaking something instead
Yes.
of creating something from yourself. Yeah.
Now, well, following from that, do you have something that would identify your art? That would, when I see it, I would say that's Lies Van Daele.
For myself, I would say no, because I'm still searching for my identity as a potter. But I've heard from other people that they can recognize the piece is mine, so
Okay.
that's nice to hear. But I think I'm very simple in what I do, because my perfection kills me from time to time. But yeah, some people say they can recognize it, but for myself, I don't feel like I have found my identity yet as a potter.
Okay. Well, that's also something that will evolve with
Yes.
time as your career carries on. So, what were the greatest challenges that you experienced in your career thus far?
I think mostly financial troubles. Is that okay if I say
Of course. I mean, I think that is quite universal for most artists. Yeah.
Because my husband and my family, they are really supportive, but I started my business just before the Corona crisis started. So it's 4 years now, and so I had to make a big investment in the building, in my ovens, in everything actually. And then I was really worried I would
Mm,
not survive.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I
So,
did.
yeah,
So
great, great. So you may have already touched on it, but what effect did COVID have on your career?
yeah.
How did you cope during the lockdown, and did you have to make any forced decisions because of that?
Well, in the beginning, the first lockdown actually was okay because I had time to create. I had some time to just experiment and do things. But the longer it took, the more I got worried about my income.
Mm,
So
mm,
I had to decide to teach more
mhm.
rather to draw more myself
Yeah,
because the teaching is an income. Making pots, you never know if you will sell one or
yeah,
two
yeah.
or none.
Mhm.
So that's why I teach more than maybe I intended in the beginning. Yeah.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you could change anything in the industry, what would it be?
Um, more knowledge. Sometimes I don't want to be rude, but sometimes I find people in the industry that, in my eyes, are not well enough.
Mm,
Someone once told me after 10 years, you may write your name at the
mhm.
bottom of your pot, and
Okay.
after 20 years, you may start to teach. And it's the feeling I have that some people have a little bit of experience, and
Yeah.
then they start to immediately start to
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, sell or teach or whatever, and sometimes it's a little bit frustrated. It would be nice if there was like a diploma, how do you
Yeah. Yeah.
say,
Or a
certificate
certification or
that,
something. Yeah.
yeah, that shows that you have value,
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
knowledge
Great.
in this profession.
Understand. Yeah. No. No. I understand.
It's a hype nowadays, so
Mm. So is
it looks
everybody
like
trying to?
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. As an artist, how would you define success?
Difficult question. I think the happiness inside
Great.
is
Yeah.
is you know your life has to have meaning, and
Yes.
I'm still looking for what am I doing here on this
Hmm.
earth.
Hmm.
Finding my happiness in my pottery and in life is,
Yeah.
I think, for me a great success.
Yeah.
But if I would have the possibility, I would just love to create and make
Hmm.
without thinking about an income or
Yeah.
selling things, but
Yeah.
just creating,
Yeah. Yeah.
without anything else. But
Yes.
unfortunately, that's not possible in this world.
Yeah. That's true. That's unfortunately true. So, what are you currently busy with?
With the garden pots,
Oh, yes,
I'm
as you
busy.
said.
I'm also busy with preparations of my classes. So, which means I'm making some examples.
Hmm.
It's big salad bowls with spoons, and I don't know the name in English. To pour water or wine.
Jug. Jug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm making some examples to inspire my students
Yeah.
and to teach them some other techniques than they are used to right now. So.
Yeah. Or if it's something to pour water in the garden, it's maybe a watering can. Is it to
No,
water your plants or to
no, it's for
for
drinking.
drinking?
Like,
Okay, yeah, then it's a jug. Yeah, then
yeah,
it's a jug.
okay.
Okay. Uh, and what are your future plans? If you have thought about it already, short term,
Well,
maybe long term.
due to the Corona crisis, I'm still looking for the balance between my family life and my working life. So
Hmm.
I would be happy if I find my way in between the two. So, but I'm thinking of taking 2 months during the holiday to create some more. because actually I don't have a lot of time to draw.
Okay.
Because of my work, so always preparing for classes and giving classes.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel the need of some time for being make things being creative. So that's my short-term goal, taking 2 months, and I'm also going to take a master class with an American coming here in September. And yeah, I have a lot of things on my list. I also want to go to Korea, but due to everything what's going on in the world, I'm going to postpone it a bit. But I still want to learn more, and I hope I can have the time and the possibility to do so.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you would like to go to Korea. Is that to learn a specific skill there, or to?
Yes. Well, that's a positive side on Instagram and things like that.
Yeah.
I follow some artists that blow away my mind. Their skills are amazing, and I have been chatting and asking them if I could go for a couple of weeks to be taught. But yeah, I didn't schedule it yet. But they said I was welcome. So,
oh, that would be good. Hey, that would be great, I think. Yeah. So where can viewers find your art? Do you have a website or anything?
Yes, I have a website.
Okay.
I also have an Instagram account.
Okay.
I'm also on Facebook, but not that much.
Yeah.
And they just can come to the house and and look around and ask me some questions. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Lies, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, as always, actually. You are such a vivacious person, and really, your, as you said, your work should show love. But I can see it from the way that I'm talking to you, that it comes from deep within, and it's great to see. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time and explaining a little bit more about what you are doing.
Thank you, Hans.
Pleasure.